you found a distraction.
What gives you the right?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Discussing Trek. And today we're going to get into the latest episode of Star Trek Discovery, Season 5, Whistlespeak. Completely felt like this episode could have been dropped in A Strange New Worlds and not miss a beat. To me, it's good to have this style of classic away mission. You know, most of the time in Discovery, it's about the action, hitting all these beats to get to this certain mystery box. So it felt like in this episode, we took a step back, we paused for a minute, and we really dove into the culture of this people. It even hints on some of the things that I think are really strong with the character of Michael Burnham that we don't get into a lot, which is diving into her background, her training in xenoanthropology, which is her first love. Now, that was a hint in this episode from Tilly. I don't know if they were trying to maybe introduce a backdoor, some elements for Starfleet Academy, but there were certainly some hints of Tilly semi-recruiting Burnham.
We could really use you at the Starfleet Academy.
Well, don't tempt me.
Because she says that recruits are actually leaving Starfleet Academy. So that's definitely an interesting element to dive into. Let's see if they pick that up or if it's something they're just foreshadowing us to the upcoming or the possibly upcoming, who knows with this merger talk going on, but the possibly upcoming Starfleet Academy show. This episode is definitely an exploration into how they worship these high towers as sort of the sustaining point for their culture. And, you know, we talk about how a higher technology can seem like magic or godlike. We know that one of the 5 scientists, in this case, a Denoblian by the name of Hitoshi Creel, is one of the ones who actually built this high tower or one of these 5 towers. We learned there's 5 that are on this planet. They used the Denoblian technology to actually sustain these people and doing it in a way that didn't break the Prime Directive. These weather towers are kind of disguised as just huge rock monuments, and the people worship them. And it's kind of sad in a way because you can definitely tell how it has shaped their culture. We learned from Burnham that, again, diving into her xenoanthropology, that this race of people has 3 genders. Now, we do get a non-binary character in the form of Rava, who's a child of Avas. And we see where Rava wants to take on this journey to the high tower, this trial. I think it was a great example of blind religion. Now, I know our religions are religions and we follow them for a reason, but it felt like a good example of following something blindly and sacrificing ourselves in the name of. So I just, no good or bad to it. I just love the exploration of this. Of course, this leads us to Tilly becoming closer to Rava, very much befriending her. And eventually, as them two are the last on this trial to make it to the end of this trial, which, mind you, they make you very thirsty by taking this pill almost to the point where you're going to die. And along this journey, there are stations of water as if you're running the New York Marathon, the Boston Marathon, but you can't drink any of them. But ultimately, we see these 5 symbols written in ancient Halem'no. These 5 symbols represent the 5 towers. And we find out that one of those symbols is actually on the vial that the crew was able to retrieve on the ISS Enterprise. Let's go and talk about Culber. Culber is searching for his inner meaning, inner spirituality, and I love that we kind of start the episode by going into his session. They refer to it as kind of a hollow therapeutic, but he is talking to his grandmother. And it was cool really seeing this therapy session. We know Wilson Cruz is of Puerto Rican descent. And I thought it was really cool to see this Puerto Rican grandmother come on there and give him advice. They debate the finer points of Mofongo. Now, I will say I found this very ironic since I was just in Puerto Rico. And what did my girlfriend try to get at almost every place we stopped? It was Mofongo. I think she tried about 5 different versions from different restaurants. So yeah, that was a little on the nose for me personally. I found that kind of funny. Did we ever find a perfect Mofongo in Puerto Rico? I don't know. I'll get back to you. But yeah, I love the sense of having this hollow therapeutic be a part of Culber trying to get in touch with his spirituality. This isn't the first time we see this, the holodeck being used as a therapeutic. I know there's probably been a few times, but the one that jumps out to me the most is when we're on the Voyager in the Delta Quadrant and Tuvok is going through Pumfar.
It's the holodeck, Tuvok. It doesn't count. Is that what you tell your wife?
Let's just say that he was able to relieve the Pumfar. Now, there's two other B/C stories in the episode. One of them has to do with Book having to sit on his hands and not do anything. And I just find it very on the nose for me, and I guess a lot of other people of my generation. In a time of distress, in a time where we don't know what to do, we turn to none other than video games. I thought that was real cool to see Book on a shuttle playing video games. He doesn't want to go into the immersive holodeck because it just doesn't feel real to him. So he kind of reverts to what looks like an older Vector-esque version of video games. Book plays video games to relieve stress. Go figure. Now he also has a very touching moment with Culber, where Culber tries to talk to Stamets about this spirituality issue, even enlists him to get help doing a full neural scan. When the scan turns up Neil, he's kind of at a loss, and really it seems like there's a slight disconnect between Culber and Stamets. We're going to see what that's going to go. This season has seemed to be the season where people have disconnects, where relationships aren't going quite as planned, and a lot of them haven't ended well. Let me hit another smaller plot. Is Adira getting more time on a bridge, and they're nervous. Now, I will say Rayner, congrats to him, because he is one of the components that is pushing them to be the best they can, and I love that Rayner is actually paying attention to the crew more and has actually fully folded into the Discovery crew.
I wouldn't have agreed if I thought you couldn't handle it.
I just feel like this was well written, slow paced. You know, when Discovery is always trying to go 90-0 most of the time, it was good to see them take a step back, take a slower pace. There's so many great touches in world building, albeit again a slower paced episode. I still feel like it was very enjoyable, and also a very Star Trekkie episode. You know, if you're really into Star Trek, I don't see how you could not like this episode. We had stuff going on the ship. We had stuff going on Halem'no. It got us to the next piece of the puzzle. So in that aspect, I feel like it was a great episode. Let me know what you thought about this episode. What are your theories? We also know that Maul and Locke, we learned that they were detained, and that's going to be kind of our next place to go to do what exactly? Maybe interrogate, maybe get more information, maybe work together. I also got to shout out Kovich. They go into the white room. I forgot what they called it, but they go into that secret room again in this episode. And Kovich is so old school. Kovich is very much a man of our time, even with the suits, the desk. He wants old paper, and it's not replicated. It's real paper. I don't know what this tells us about Kovich. I think there might be a mystery there that we might dive into at some point, because who is this guy? And also the benefit of this meeting is that we get the full list of all the doctors involved. Of course, we knew about the Romulan Velic. We knew about the Trill Bix. We knew about Dr. Sho from the Wormhole episode. In this episode, we learned about Hitoshi Krill, the Denobulan scientist. One more name on that list is Marina Drex. Now, I wonder will we go to Betazoid, or will this lead us to another planet? Obvious shout out to Marina Sirtis, this character being Marina Drex, Betazoid. So cool shout out to TNG there. And I feel like we're getting slight shout outs to each of the iterations of Trek. Again, what did you guys think of the episode? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for joining, guys. Until next time, bye.